Hello crafters, I am live on YouTube. I'm going to give just a few minutes for there to be people to arrive at the channel, and I want to remind you that there will be some interactive comments. If you make a comment, there is a live chat portion on your screen, and I hope you can find it and be able to do some live chatting. We've got one person. Hi. Glad that you could join today. Hey, it's Joe. What's up? I'm glad you found the chat feature. That is really cool. So, I'm going to give just a few minutes, like another 2 minutes, to see if the emails are going out. We've got 6 watching now. Great. Hi, Jamie. Stamp and Get Inky. Great. I'm so glad you could join. Hi from Ontario. Hi, RF. I'm glad everybody could join in. Well, since we have a few people watching, I'm going to get started. This is not going to be a really long live session because I didn't realize it, but my children have early dismissal from school today. So that's going to definitely inhibit my ability to be able to carry on a conversation. So I wanted to join. Yesterday I was supposed to be live. Stamp and Get Inky, hi from Texas. I am a native Texan and I grew up in the Houston area. So howdy, how you doing? I wanted to do this yesterday, and I apologize for not being able to be live, but I had to do some, I had to be away for some testing yesterday, so I wanted to try to make up for it today. Hi, Lori, how are you doing? Yeah, thank you for coming across my video. This is Birthday Carousel, or I'm sorry, Carousel Birthday, and it's a great set. So I'm going to get started. Hi, Nilsa. I have family in Florida. So, hello to you and hello to my family. This is Carousel Birthday, and I have a couple of different images that we're going to use for making this card. So, I want to first, I guess, show you the card. This came out earlier on my blog, earlier last week, I believe. And it's a very simple card, although it's a little fussy and frilly for me. Oh, hi, Stamp and Get Inky. I'm glad you like my videos. Hi, Jamie. Yeah, I love Stampin' Up too. It's awesome. This is the image from the inside of the card, and we're going to get started on making this. This is going to be like a watermark effect, and I'll go through some of the design elements. That's my little doggy. She's my little crafter's companion that she's getting up. She sits underneath my table while I'm crafting. Her name is KK. She's a Chihuahua. She's one of our babies. So this is the card that I'm going to make. And some of the components that I'm going to be using is the Carousel Birthday stamp set. And I also have All Things Thanks stamp set. And I'll be using the little sentiment here that says you're the best. And I saw a tip from the artisan design team that they were using, or that they discovered, that the little scrolly stamp fits directly onto the decorative label punch. Isn't that cool? And since I already had the decorative label punch in my stash, this is a one that is not a new punch. It's been around for a while. I don't know how long it's going to stay around, but we're definitely going to give it a use today. I'm going to make a sentiment label for that and make it in a shadow two-tone effect. And then we're going to make a carousel horse. And there's a couple of different ways to do that, and we'll get to that point. This is a regular doily. I think this is the old style doily, and then Stampin' Up! Came up with a new style doily that is just a little bit different. And this is the old one. It fit better onto the cardstock, and I still had a couple of them. Here's a piece of baker's twine, and I have a piece of Bermuda Bay on the back side of this decorative label punch. So we can get started. And if you guys have any questions or comments as you go, I'm able to look at my cell phone is up here, and my laptop computer is over there, and I can read your comments from where I am. So I'm so glad that we can interact with each other in this kind of a format. All right, so to get started on this project, I'm gonna get some of these things out of the way. We're gonna start with the two-tone or the tone-on-tone look. And there's a couple of different ways that I go about doing that. Now here's the little post-it that shows the dimensions. You guys know that I usually put something up here on in the corner of my work surface. So I'm going to use, this is a piece of grid paper that when I use it, I cut it up like this so that I can use it for grocery lists or for like stamping on, making a multi-generational stamp. Just something easy. I hate to throw things away if I can get another use out of it. So here are the ink colors that we're going to be using. Pool Party, Bermuda Bay, and Chocolate Chip. So the reason I chose Pool Party is because Pool Party and Bermuda Bay have a nice complementary look to each other. And Chocolate Chip is the color of the DSP from Tasty Treats. So I'm using the actual DSP to be able to coordinate a piece of cardstock and ink. So that was all determined by the actual DSP. So if this DSP was pink, then I would have gone with Pink Pirouette and Blushing Bride or Sweet Sugar Plum or something like that. But the point is that I was working with complementary colors. And if I start talking too fast, then you guys just put the brakes on and tell me. Tell me, slow down, girl. So I'm going to get started with the Pool Party. And this little circus tent is just the cutest. I haven't used it enough, so I really like to try to use it as much as I can. Hi, Linda. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. So this little piece of paper is going to help me not stamp on the back side of my card, and then I'm also going to use it to get, when I ink up a stamp, this is a first generation of ink, and when I take off one layer, I'm left with a second generation of ink. And that's what I'm going to be using for this tone-on-tone look, is a second generation of ink. My stamp pad is really juicy because I just inked up and re-inked a bunch of them this past week. So I am going to make sure that the image that I'm stamping hangs off of the paper a little bit. And if you are familiar with design in any way, then you can get more of a realistic three-dimensional look if you stamp your image to where it doesn't fully appear to be on the paper. It appears to be going coming from somewhere, going to some place kind of look. And what that does for you is, I know this is going to be an area that's covered up, but I still want to stamp, and it helps me keep everything lined up. But when you have images that are partly on and partly off the cardstock, then it allows your mind to go somewhere else, to see that the image is traveling or that it's coming and going to and from somewhere else. So that is the theory behind why I do it. And this again is Pool Party ink. And I'm just going in a repeating offset kind of a look. So what are you guys doing today? What are you doing this afternoon? You can share with me in the comments if you like what you're up to, if you're doing any crafting or if you're at work watching along. I appreciate that you guys took the time to jump over here to YouTube. And I'm going to continue that half on, half off down here to this portion. I hope I'm not, there we go. Make sure everything stays inside the camera. And it's just going to make my brain a little more happy. What a nicely drawn stamp here from Stampin' Up! Too. Okay, so I'm not going to be using this stamp anymore. I'm going to set it to the side. And I'm going to use Pool Party one more time, so I'll go ahead and stamp with that. So here's our card base, and it's finished at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's a top folding card. So we'll set this to the side. And the next component is going to be the carousel horse. I'm not sure if you can see through on the screen that it has shininess to it. It's a, I think I stamped it on regular paper and then I coated it with Wink of Stella because that gave me the highest amount of shine that I could get. And I have another way that I'm going to do it today. I want to use a piece of Whisper White shimmer to see which one of these papers is shiny. This is it here. So here's the Whisper White shimmer. And have you guys used the shimmer paper before? Oh, you have freezing rain, Lori? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're able to come over here today. We don't have the freezing rain. I'm in South Jersey, so I'm in your neighborhood. RF, that sounds really great. You're avoiding work. I'm avoiding housework. I'm always avoiding housework. Okay. One little tip with this stamp that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'll show you on this, is that whenever stamps are cut and has the it has kind of the way that it's cut around it, it's deceiving to be able to determine where a straight line is. You know, one thing I thought about that I haven't done before is to take the stamp and to draw like crosshairs to see exactly where the vertical and the horizontal lines are in the stamp, and it would help me to line things up better, because you guys know, if you watch my videos, I am a crooked stamper, and I need all the help that I can get with being able to line up my images straight. So one thing that I figured out about this is to notice the knobby piece at the top and the bottom, which is the pole. And so if I line it up to where the knobby pieces are right up and down from each other, then that will help me to be able to get this a little bit more straight. Now I'm going to fussy cut this, and so it doesn't make a world of difference for me to be able to get this. I'll put it over here. So if you see what I'm talking about with, if you're going to stamp this directly onto cardstock, then you really want to try your best in order to get this pole lined up straight. I do have another card that I made with, I'll grab it real quick, with this particular stamp set. And I'll dig it up here. How do you guys store your cards? This is how I do it. I have one of these little containers, and I take an envelope and I turn it sideways and write what my I make dividers and write what my categories are. And this is birthdays. So I've got quite a few birthday cards right now that I've made for the year. Now, I made this card about a month or so ago, and I have it in like 3 different colorways. But as you can see, this is where it will make a difference. Thanks, Cheryl. This is where it will make a difference on whether you're lining up the stamp with the pole. So if I take and make some crosshairs on this, then that would be one way to be able to definitely see whether it's lined up or not. So you can see, for an example, where it would matter. And then when I'm stamping just on a piece of paper that will be fussy cut, it won't matter as much. So here I'm going to use, thank you, Lori. I'm glad you like it. If you create this card, I'd love for you to share it. Okay. So this is a little dark. Whenever I stamped over here, I wonder if I used Soft Sky. I bet I did. Instead of Pool Party. Sometimes I like to try to get a little bit lighter image, and so I'll use a little bit of Soft Sky. So let's switch over to Soft Sky and see if it makes a difference. I keep things in my craft room, like all my stamp pads are far enough away from my work surface that it forces me to get up. So I'm constantly getting up, and I don't sit down very much, so that it helps me to be able to move more. So that's one little trick I did on my brain, so that I wouldn't just sit stationary and get into a groove of making a card, and then before you know it, it's 2 hours later and I didn't mop the floor. Okay, so we're going to flip this card over, cardstock, and go for Soft Sky and see if that looks a little better. And the reason that I'm looking for something a little bit lighter that is because this is Pool Party. This is Bermuda Bay, but I don't want the horse to like stand out as the sole focus of the card, because I feel like the focus is more over here to the sentiment, and I want my eye to be drawn over. Yeah, that's what I did. That looks a little more natural. See, this looks almost like a Pool Party with it being full strength. Okay. I feel you, RF. I've got wooden floors all over our house, and mopping the floor is a job that is constant. And we have 2 boys. One of the boys that is the one that you hear on the videos, his name is Trip. He's 6 years old now. He just had a birthday at the beginning of this month, and he is just a wonderful joy. And he loves to help Mommy. He loves to think that he's helping Mommy do the videos. So that's why I put him on the end of the videos, because you guys have, oh, thanks RF, because you guys have definitely said that you enjoy having his little greeting at the end, but it also gives him the ability to come in there and hang out with Mommy. And he does some stamping every now and again. I got him to do the card kit, the Pretty Pocket card kit. If you guys didn't see the video yet, that's one of the videos on my channel, is from Trip and I putting together the card kit one day when he was home sick from school. It's very kid friendly. So I'm just fussy cutting this carousel horse. Usually on my videos I speed up that part, because fussy cutting can be a little bit like you're tapping your feet and waiting. I know I'm tapping my feet, but I can only go so fast. So the two options on getting this to be a shiny piece of paper is, of course, I can stamp it on shimmery white cardstock as I've done here, or I could stamp it out onto regular Whisper White, and I can coat it with Wink of Stella Clear. And the Wink of Stella Clear will allow there to be a concentrated amount of shine and shimmer and shine. I agree too, Inky. That working with kids it's one of my greatest rewards, especially my own kids. All kids, but especially my own two boys. So I'm just going around. Fussy cutting is usually not a problem. I don't mind doing it. It's kind of relaxing until my fingers start to hurt from the scissors. And then I'll stamp out some things and ask Trip to help me sometimes. Even though it's not really something I intend to use on a card, but it makes him feel as if he's helping out. And that's a great feeling. It helps build his confidence. And then there's the Big Shot. Oh, this boy is starting to use the Big Shot. I gave him a couple of framelits that were basically, you can't do anything to them to damage them. And he was so excited to just run them through and cut out a bunch of pieces. He was really happy with his results. Okay. So here we have the little horse, and I'm not sure if you can see what the difference would be. This is stamping onto Whisper White cardstock. It seems a bit more sharp to me. The image seems to be more crisp. And then this is on shimmery white. So it seems like on the shimmery white, it's soaked into the paper more, and the shimmer is there, but it's definitely not as shiny. See if holding it at an angle helps a little bit. Embossing sheets, that's cool, RF. I haven't shown him the embossing folders yet. I'm gonna save that for another step for Mr. Tripp. But I definitely prefer this one. This one is, it's more crisp. It's more of a true color to me. And this is what the pool party was, and this is the soft sky. So what do you guys think? Do you like the shimmery white, or do you like the clear Wink of Stella? We have the two different ways here. Either way, it works out really, really well. So let's move on. I have some of this nice designer series paper, and this is the flip side. This is what it would look like pool party on pool party. So I chose this paper because of the vertical lines that are going to distract from all of this other frilly stuff. And it would also echo the design element of the carousel horse. You like the shimmery white, Lori? Okay. And so this is in choosing how I laid out the card and what paper to choose. I knew I wanted to use some kind of designer series paper. You like the Wink of Stella, Inky? Okay. And this also, this little piece of twine is enough to, hi Dusty, thanks for joining, is enough to bring in another vertical element. So I know that it's kind of getting on the more technical design part of making a card, but I think that it's important to remember that you want to balance things out. If you see the way things are looking, and I'll give you an example. I made a card the other day that it just wasn't working out. I wasn't able to get the design to balance out very well. I'll I'll show you. I haven't finished this card yet. I keep working on it and putting it to the side. But this is a slider card that I feel like I need to add something else to it. And I don't want to overcomplicate things. Hi, Shell. Thanks for joining from Canada. I'm glad you're here. I feel like I need something else on this, and I'm not really sure what it's going to be yet. So sometimes I just look at things for a little bit. Here's the slider portion. It has the little bunny that comes out. Isn't that cute? So this is an example of balance. I want to get the right balance on what the design element's going to be. So I've got the lines in the designer paper are going vertical. The eggs are going out horizontal. Thank you, Shell. I'm glad you like this one. It's just it's not a throw something together for me usually. In order for a design to work. Thanks, RF. Oh, an egg rolling off the chicken. Okay. I try to balance everything. So this much of an empty space for me is, I'm not really excited about all of this green down here. So I thought about, putting some words down here. But I have to have this area because of the slider. And I'm not sure if you can see down in here. But this is where there's foam tape down in here. You like it, Joe? Maybe I'll make a video once I finally get this thing. Once I get it figured out to a way that horizontal words. Okay. I thought about that, Shell, but I don't know. I keep looking at it and thinking that there's something else that's got to happen. Something else. So I did do some vertical. I'll show you guys another one. I'm totally getting off the subject. I made this morning, and this is a card for Paper Chain Gang Challenge. And I wanted to use this piece of paper in this direction, so I used label or alphabet to echo and balance. And then the design here is going out horizontally. So I'm trying to keep everything balanced out. A basket? Yeah. I'll definitely show it, Shell. Definitely. Hi, Angela. Thanks for joining. Words below. Yeah, we'll see. I'll once I figure this out, I think I'll do a video, and once I can simplify the process, because I don't want to lead you guys down a complicated path. I want to make it as easy as possible. So I'm going to use this piece of designer series paper from Tasty Treats, and these are the measurements. The DSP is 3.5 inches squared, and the chocolate chip is a complementary color, and so I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch larger on that. One-eighth of an inch is, it's like my magic formula for a frame. It just works out for me. All right. Can I get it straight? That's the question. I always put the paper down wonky. All right, so we have a couple of elements ready for this, and I have our little magic doily. So how did I put the doily on? I did not complicate it. I just kept things very easy. And this is going to be, one side is going to be the back end. So I came up to the middle on this. The other one seems to be a little bit, no, I think I didn't go to the middle. I turned it this way so that it will be a little bit shorter. Well, regardless, I'm going to just put it on there. Oh, I know what I did. Isn't that bad when you do things and you forget how you did them? It happens so frequently for me. All right, so in order to get to the shorter, because this piece of this unit is actually 3 5/8 inches, and this is much taller if I use the full thing. So I'm coming down to this portion right here. So this is what's going to be on the front, and then all the rest of it is going to go on the back. I'm just going to fold it over, and that's going to stay put on the back. Or you could cut it. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. I just want to do what's faster. Oh, Linda, that's a great idea. Thank you for sharing your great ideas. Okay, so we have this, and that's one little trick on how to make a doily fit what your project is by making it a little smaller. And now I'm going to use some baker's twine, and I will adhere this. There we go. So I think I showed it in a video not too long ago, or it's going to be coming up soon, because I work 2 weeks in advance of when things publish. But here is how, whenever I take the backing off, I keep a little bowl that has all the little pieces so they don't get flying all around my desk. Okay, I want the horse's tail and his back leg to hang off of the card just a little bit. And then I'm going to put this around. Linda, how do you find that the manicure scissors help you out more? Do they give you a little bit of a closer cut into the paper? How do they work better? I'm very interested in this now. Okay, so when I'm working on bows, I don't try to go pretty first. I just get the job done, and then I start fixing it up. Tightening and trimming. Okay. So now we have this little bit of string to put right above the horse here. Did you guys ever see the trick of how to make the baker's twine curl? I'll show it to you in just a few minutes. So if you take your scissors on one of the sharp edges and just make it a string happening, and just like you would do Christmas ribbon, sometimes it works for me and sometimes it doesn't. I find that if I push too hard, then it has the opposite effect. It just kind of tears it up. So this made it a little bit wavy, but usually I can get it to be like large waves. Okay, so we have this portion finished. What do you guys think? Not too hard so far, is it? Okay, so now we are going to do the sentiment. So making the sentiment is going to be a couple of different ways. One way that I've done it before is to stamp everything first and then to punch it out. Usually that's the way that I like. Clean and simple, Angela, that's my favorite too. It works out. So here's a trick. So I'm just punching out this as a guide, and then I'm going to stamp directly on here, and we'll try it and see if it works. I can't make any promises, but I'm going to try. So we have Soft Sky and Bermuda Bay. So Soft Sky and Bermuda Bay and Pool Party, they kind of have, sometimes not so much Soft Sky, but Pool Party and Bermuda Bay they're like different shades of the same thing. So if you want to get like a graduated look or do some ink blending or do ombre, then you would want to go with colors that have the same base. And one way to find out what a base color is to dilute it. One day I'm going to actually sit down and work on a Stampin' Up! Color base color wheel, and just for my own benefit to be able to see, but most of the time I can tell where like what the base is, what the color base is. For example, the color Crumb Cake has a green base. It's an ash color, so that would be something that you would not want to pair with something that has a violet base or a blue base. Okay, so let's see if this works. So there is my Bermuda Bay, and then I'm going to take the Soft Sky. I'm going to stamp this off several times to get the rest of that ink off, and then use this Soft Sky here to go right on the outside of it. I want to just shadow. I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm working off of here. Okay. So here is, it's like almost like an echo, and then if you not just move it back but kind of stagger it a little bit, then sometimes that gives you a good effect too. Alright, so I'm going to punch this out now because I will never be able to get it to where I know where everything is. I'll never be able to get the other scroll up on the other side. But at least one side I'll know that it's going to be lined up just right. Okay. So now I'm going to go back with the darker and work over here in this portion. So here's that Bermuda Bay. And I'm just following the scroll work that is already on the punch itself. Okay. Now I've left enough room to make sure that I can get the shadow effect on there as well. Oh, they're curved and shorter. Okay, thanks for sharing, Linda. That's a great insight. I'm going to have to give that a try. Somewhere I have a manicure set in my house, and I will check it out. Okay, so now I want to go this way and this way. So I'm going to go in a northwesternly offset because I don't want it to be perfectly on the outside of it. I want it to be offset just a hair. Well, I overshot it a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, now the last piece in this is going to be the little tiny stamp. This is the one from All Things Thanks. So this is more of the chocolate chip. So we have the designer series paper, the cardstock, and the ink of chocolate chip. And all of those things are going to come together. And I chose this stamp because it fits perfectly in between all of this fancy scroll work. It's a little stamp, but the font is large enough to be able to you could get the Stampin' Jig to work for you, Angela. I'm impressed. I have a Stampin' Jig, but I am not able to get it to work. The Stampin' Jig and I have a love-hate relationship. So I give you accolades. Okay, so this is a piece of Bermuda Bay. And here is a trick. I'm going to cut it straight down the middle. And then I'm going to trim off these little points that are left. And I'm going to glue it right behind here. And what I think is really interesting is the way that this cardstock reacts to the rest of the colors. Because Bermuda Bay is, I believe it has a green base as well. It is one of those colors that, depending on what you pair it with, it looks blue, and it looks green, and it looks a little blue. Oh, for cookies. Okay. I'm trying to get an even amount on the top and the bottom. So that's a little bit more than what I wanted. Let me see if I can have a little bit of extra time on the snail adhesive. Okay, that's a little better. So this is going to go, we can go ahead and adhere this. Okay. Are you guys ready with your Easter cards yet? Have you started creating? I am still going strong on Easter cards. I need so many of them. Doesn't seem like I can make enough. And I have not started my swaps yet for Onstage. I'm going to be going to Richmond. Is anybody going to be going to Richmond for Onstage? Oh, Dusty, you can work your Stampin' Jig too? That's cool. Alright, so I am going to straighten this up just a little bit. So I'm taking 3 of the sides up, but leaving 1 so that I can turn it just a little bit. Use the Misty Inky? I do too. I use the Misty whenever I can. However, Stampin' Up! Does not sell the Misty, and so I try to limit my craft supplies to what Stampin' Up! Offers. However, there are some exceptions that there's like the ombre stamping. I can't really get that ombre stamped look unless I use the Misty, and I think the Misty is fantastic. That's one of those products that we always keep telling Stampin' Up! And ask them, please start carrying a stamp positioner like the Misty. So this is going to go, and this is where I can choose to have it come off of the card a little bit. I think I'm going to stay on like I originally did and have it overlap just a little bit. And I think all we have left to do, other than the inside of the card, are the perfect white accents. I chose these because they are white and they would be able to carry out the colors a little bit further. I'm careful when I pull these out because the little backing piece tries to come off. Now you guys, have you ever realized that if you do take off this backing piece, then you are having in your hand a clear droplet? It's a piece of clear plastic. I hope they make one inky. I have asked for it enough times to where I'm sure they understand that Jenny Hall wants to have a product that I can help you guys with, that is a stamp positioner that I can actually work. unlike the Stamp-A-Majig that I don't have any success with. Okay, I think this is pretty close to how the original card was. So I'll show you on these clear dots, well, on these white accents. If you take the white and leave the sticker part and take it away, then you're left with just a clear dot. So what can you do with a clear dot? Well, they're beautiful. It's like a sequin. So we could take this and, let's see, how about if we use a glue dot? And I'll just stick it right on this card. So here's a glue dot on here. And how about I put it right in between all these others, and then you can see the stamping through it. So how about that? And that's just with a glue dot. You could actually use some clear, glue. The fine tip glue pen would be completely clear, but you would have to be very sparing with it because it just kind of comes out everywhere. But I find that it's not distracting enough to use a glue dot, that it works out okay. And this is our card. So what do you guys think? Not too hard. And it's a nice design that you can use. This would be a good sketch that you could apply to different, to many different cards. In fact, I just did that with a video that is, I think it's going to come out on Sunday. I'll give you a quick preview of my Sunday cards. I'm starting a series on this coming Tuesday that is a new technique series. Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Dusty. It's a new technique series on how to use the stamp pads in a different way. So I will share the card that I made, if I can put my eyes on it. So this coming Tuesday, I have a new series that's going to start that is how to use your stamp pads to the max. The set is sold. Aw, good job, Lori. This is embossed with regular ink. I used embossing powder, but I didn't use the Versamark. I don't know, Linda. That's a great question. I know that the Misty Company recently, in fact this week, they received their patent on on their stamp positioner. So I saw that there was a recall on the memory keepers and on another one. I forget who made it, but that they recalled their products because it's no longer a patent pending. The Misty is patented. So if Stampin' Up! Was going to cover, if they were going to sell one, they would probably have to sell the Misty. I'm not really sure where the Misty's made. Let's see. It says U.S. patent pending, but it doesn't tell me where it's made. Oh, made in China. There we go. So as long as they can make enough of them, then you guys, I don't know if you realize, but where I used to be in the international shipping business, and when something's made outside of the United States, it's a government requirement that it be legally marked of the country of origin. So that's one way you can always tell if something is made inside the U.S. or not. So that's what I was looking for, was the sticker on the Misty. So this is going to be, next Tuesday is going to be a series on what we can do with our regular stamp pads. So I used a regular stamp pad to do the stamping and the embossing on this. I just put the powder on top of here, but I've got a whole detailed video to share with you guys on Tuesday. And then the following Tuesday, I believe I'll use regular stamp pads to probably do ink blending or something. But everything on here is regular stamp pads. That's coming up on Tuesday. This coming Sunday, I have an easy series. It's going to be one sketch and making multiple cards. So all of these cards are made from exactly the same sketch, as you can see. Yes, Linda, it is a lot more expensive. I'm not really sure why. Um, I don't know, but the Tim Holtz one, it looks different. It doesn't even have the same look. So maybe we'll be able to get somewhere with a Tim Holtz. But yes, you're right, Linda. So this is 4 different cards made with 4 different colorways on exactly the same design. So I'll have this video for you guys on Sunday on how I created and came up with those things and all the little design elements. So that's a sneak peek for Sunday's card. And I think that's about all I have for you guys today. I'm so glad that you chose to take the time out and do a little bit of interactive stamping with me. And if you guys have any suggestions on what you would like to see on the YouTube Live, I'm going to try to start doing more frequently. Right now it's once a month, but I want to try to go a little bit more frequently depending on my children's schedule. They got out of school early today. In fact, I've heard them come in, so I know they're chomping at the bit probably to find where's mommy. So I'll have to run and go pass out Cheetos and orange juice and milk and all the other great stuff that we have on our after schools. But thank you guys for joining me again today, and I appreciate your support. If there's any purchases that you would like to make, then you're welcome, Laurie. If you have anything that you want to purchase, I would ask that you please remember that I appreciate your support. If you purchase from Stampin' Up! And you're not a demonstrator, then I would definitely love to send you a thank you card for your order. Thank you, Taylor. I'm so glad that you were able to. Oh, okay, this is your first time. Great, great. Oh, great, Dusty. Well, I'm going to definitely do more of the live videos. And if you guys have any suggestions on what you would like to see on a live video, if there's a particular technique or if there's just a particular card, I usually publish videos already on back to mopping. I know, RF. I know. it's life. The floors do not clean themselves. But I want to try to get more ideas going out there. Hi, Judy. Thank you. Yeah, great video. Thanks. Thank you. So again, if you have any ideas, and if not, then I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. I'll do another live video. This is going to be recorded, so for some reason, if you want to go back and use it to make the card of this sketch idea, maybe change up the colors or however it fits into your crafting, then thank you, Inky. I'm glad you liked it. Then that way you can replay the video and you can get everything. And then I'll go back and I'll put some measurements, and that way you can have. But just for now, to be sure that you don't miss out on the size of this, the designer paper is 3.5 inches squared, and 1/8 of an inch larger is the cardstock, and that's the chocolate chip. Taylor, I am in South Jersey. My accent is from Texas. I'm originally a Texas girl, but I live in South New Jersey right now. I live in the, I think they call it the Delaware Valley, where there's New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania here. And so it's in the whole Delaware Valley area. So the news channels that we get are from Philadelphia. That's how close we are to Philly. It's like an hour away from my house to the Philadelphia airport. So I'm going to sign off now. Thank you guys again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.